You're listening to the Flip Houses Like a Girl podcast, where we educate, empower, and celebrate everyday women who are facing their fears, juggling family and business, embracing their awesomeness, and wholeheartedly chasing their dream of flipping houses. Each episode delivers honest to goodness tools, tips, and strategies you can implement today to get closer to your first or next successful house flip. Here's your spiky-haired, breakfast taco-loving host, house flipping coach, Debbie DeBeery.
Hey there. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm really excited to share this conversation with you that I had with one of our flip sisters named Sabrina, and she lives in Tennessee. She's telling us all about her first flip journey, and you're definitely going to want to listen in because she somehow drank a cup of courage, found courage in a cup of coffee, and had a hard conversation with the wholesaler and saved this transaction and went on to complete her first flip, make a profit that is more than her annual salary. And I love that we've come full circle because before joining our coaching program, Sabrina was a podcast listener, just like you. And so here we are. She listened to a bunch of inspirational stories, joined our program, flipped her first house, and here we are debriefing her own first flip story. It's so cool. You're going to love her story, and the inspiration that comes from it all. All right, let's go. Let's jump in. If you want to just introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background about you, where you are, what you do in your regular life, that sort of thing.
My name is Sabrina, and I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. And for a regular job, I'm a vet tech nurse, and I've been doing that since 2004.
Oh, wow. How long have you been in Knoxville? Are you from Knoxville?
No,
Okay.
not too far away from here, but I moved here specifically to be in the veterinary field.
Cool. Okay. And so my guess is you probably had this dream to flip houses for a while, and you finally said, fine, I'm doing it. And you recently closed on the sale of your first flip. So we want to debrief all that because we love numbers and we love hearing people's stories. And the cool part is that so many people will be inspired by you. And that's it's just awesome. It's really awesome. And it creates these little ripples. And that's why I love doing these interviews.
I can definitely remember listening to the first couple podcasts and being like, I wonder if I could do that one day. I wonder if I could be on a podcast.
I love it. Yes, I love it. And here we are, full circle.
Yep. I definitely thought of that this morning.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh, that gives me chills. I love that. That's so cool. Okay, so let's talk about your first deal. Let's talk about, how about walk us through how you found it?
I found it on a wholesaler list.
Cool.
And I had reached out to a wholesaler before, like a different company. I had a really good experience with them. Just that deal wasn't going to work out for me at that time.
Sure.
I was probably still a little bit too scared. And in hindsight, we could have done that, and we could have done a much better job than the person that did flip it.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely stalked it since then.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. I think that's important because first of all, you see what it sold for, and you see if you were anywhere close to projections, and you see, oh man, I could have created such a better product than that.
Yeah. I'm still kicking myself on that one.
I get it. I have some of those too. And a couple of them I drive by every day because they're in my neighborhood. And I'm like, dang it. But it's true. Like you have to, it takes that little extra nudge of confidence that says, yes, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And you had it on this one.
Yeah. I feel like in hindsight, if I had known the extent of the repairs, I probably wouldn't have jumped on this one. I would have
Okay.
found an excuse to talk myself out of this one, just like before.
Yes.
So I'm kind of glad that it ended up the way that it did.
Yes.
I just had to do it.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay, when did you close on the purchase?
August 16th.
Okay, you got it in August from a wholesaler. What was the purchase price?
We ended up deciding on 145.
Okay. And what were you thinking the repairs were going to be?
I had 50,000 in my
Okay.
head.
Okay.
The wholesaler, on their website, they thought 25,000 was going to do it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. They usually do. Yeah. They're usually about that far off. The only thing we can trust is their asking price. And then everything else, it's like, and I love wholesalers, one of my number one sources of deals, but do we just look at one number and that's their asking price?
Yeah.
Okay. So 145,000 for the purchase, 50,000 for the repairs. How were you going to finance it, or how did you finance this?
We used a HELOC.
Okay.
From our home. I also found a private money lender.
Nice.
We also ended up having some money from the sale of a rental house that I pushed to buy a few years ago. So this was a really good year to sell.
Yeah.
And so we did.
Yeah. Awesome. Ooh. Awesome. So you didn't have much financing, just the private money lender, really.
Right.
Yeah. That's great.
It was a really good friend, and I was a little nervous about, the outcome.
Yeah.
Would we still be friends? How's this going to go? But it went very well.
Awesome. Were they involved at all, or were they just a silent investor?
The more silent, the better.
Amen. That's when honestly, the times where I've let a partner have a bigger role than that, those are the times that we're not really friends anymore. Honestly, it's too much.
This person so much so was silent that I was like, are we still okay?
Yeah.
Are we still talking? Because I didn't want to talk about it around others.
Sure.
And so
that's funny. Are we okay?
Just kind of checked in. Do some updates here and there as far as where we are in the process, and
give some reassurance.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would definitely use a private money lender again.
For sure. For sure. Okay. So you get into it. What did your repair estimate? Okay. So it was estimated at $50,000. What did you end up spending?
$60,000.
Okay. That's not bad. Okay. So what were some of the surprises that came up?
We couldn't locate a septic tank.
Oh.
There was no permit from the county.
Oh, gosh.
So we didn't know, where it was, how big it was, if it was suited for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath like this home was. Why wasn't it permitted? Just all those questions came up. So we did go through and have an inspection done, had a letter by the county issued, and then I guess a septic tank company came out, actually, located it, cleaned it out, verified that it was the correct size.
Okay, phew.
And so that was like,
right.
That was definitely one of my talking points to the wholesaler. Do you remember that whole situation where I almost backed out of that deal?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, now I do. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost 3 days before the closing walked away from it.
That's right.
I had totally forgotten all the things you taught us.
That's what happened.
Which is, I was so excited about getting this deal. I want this deal. This looks good.
I get it. I still do. I still
Yeah.
forget.
My husband hadn't walked the property with me. The contractor hadn't walked with me. I had only walked it.
Uh-huh.
And with my rose-colored glasses, I wasn't able to see all the things. I
Sure.
thought we could keep the kitchen cabinets.
Uh-huh.
I knew some more obvious things, but then others I just didn't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was an occupied property.
Okay.
And so all of their
Yeah.
belongings were there. There
Yeah.
were pets there.
Oh gosh.
They were there while we were
Oh
viewing it.
gosh.
They
So
were
uncomfortable.
smoking.
Oh God.
I'm not a smoker and I can't stand cigarette smoke. So
Oh
I
gosh.
really just wanted to,
Get out.
see it as fast as I could. I walked it with the wholesaler that day. That was their first time being there because they made an offer sight unseen.
Oh my gosh.
And I left that day going, well, this is not bad.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 3 days before the closing that I was like, their ARV, the wholesaler ARV was 220,000.
Okay.
My real estate agent's ARV was 260,000. And with the 260, it worked.
Okay.
With the 220, it just wasn't going to work. And so I went ahead and reached out to another real estate agent who we've done business with before
good.
that works more in the area where this house is.
Good.
I said, hey, I already have an agent, but I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I said, I've got this property. Can you tell me what you think you would have for an ARV?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, just text me the address. This is all over text.
Yeah.
And so I texted him and he saw the address and he immediately wrote back, call me.
He knew the house.
Debbie, he had been trying to buy the house himself for months.
Okay.
He knew the owner.
Okay.
They had gone to high school together. He had been in the property multiple times.
Oh my gosh.
And he told me what the owner told him that the wholesaler offered.
Okay.
And I knew what I had promised to pay.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't okay with that margin that they were going to make on this just for finding the house.
Yeah.
And so I had to really, really, really have a very serious conversation with myself and then with my husband about whether or not we were going to move forward with this. The morning after we walked the property with the contractor and my husband, I was still prepared to lose the $2,500 earnest money.
Okay.
But I was finishing a cup of coffee at the kitchen sink that morning after like a sleepless night and
right.
a very tense situation at the house the evening before. And I thought to myself, as I drank that last sip of coffee, it hit me. I've got the upper hand in this. And I'm going to stand up for myself and tell them exactly how much I'm willing to pay for this house.
Oh, God. Love this.
Yeah. So I drove to work that morning. And on the way, I called the wholesaler. And we talked about stuff that you talk about with a wholesaler. Hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Right.
We're closing in 3 days. I had already told them that I was having second thoughts. And so that wasn't new to them because we'd mentioned it a few days before. And he starts going into how the decisions I'm getting ready to make are affecting all these families that aren't in on the conversation, trying to make me feel bad. And I said, you know what? There's one family that we've left out of this, and that's mine. I'm not willing to lose a bunch of money on this house. And I really feel like they took advantage of me being a woman, number one. And they were very aware that this was real estate investing was very new to me. So I did not appreciate any of that. I told them that the most I was going to pay for that property was $140,000. The guy laughed at me.
Oh my gosh.
He told me, this is not how this works, and this is not a negotiation. And then he started to negotiate with me. Yeah. How about 150,000? No. I said, my husband and I talked about 140, and that's where I am. And that's, yeah. After that, he told me that it was out of his hands at this point, and I had better answer my phone when it rings again.
Oh, God. This guy.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
I still felt like I had the upper hand, and I was still willing to let that money go, the earnest money go.
You have to be.
Yep. So a few hours later, that guy's boss calls me. He tries to offer me 150,000. I said no. He goes, what? No, I told him I wanted 140. I could pay 140, and he wasn't okay with that. And at that point, I thought the deal was off.
Mm-hmm.
I did some soul searching. I thought about it for about another half hour, and I called him back and I told him I would take the 145. And
what
so
were they initially asking?
160. So they were going to put $30,000 in their pocket, and I wasn't okay with that.
Yeah. That's amazing. So what coffee were you drinking that morning? Because I need some of that. I need some of that coffee in my life, man.
Exactly.
Cup of courage.
Yeah, no, it all became clear that
yes,
I needed to speak up for myself.
Oh my God.
I had that really hard conversation with my husband, and then with the wholesaler, and I was standing up for myself and my family.
I understand that completely. It took me 5 years to have that aha moment with myself. So I'm really impressed that you had it that quickly. But mine was mostly around contractors, just like, oh, sure. Oh, sure. You're going to, okay, sure. No problem. Right. Like, I'll just take it on. Sure. No problem. Oh, you're going to be about a week late. Okay. No problem. And then I had that same kind of aha, and I was like, wait a second. This is my family. This is my livelihood. No, this isn't okay. Oh my God. That's so inspiring. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So you get him from 160 down to 145. And what's interesting to me is that their ARV was so much lower because they're right. They usually have low repair estimates and high ARVs. So that was interesting. Yeah. So what did your friend, I'm so glad that you contacted that person, right? That was another thing, right? Your gut said, reach out to this person, and you did.
Exactly.
Okay. So what did he think the ARV would be?
He was right in the middle at 240. Okay. So that's what I based all my numbers on.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would have gone with his opinion as well. Out of all of the three, yeah.
He had been in the property multiple times.
Right. And he knows the area, and yeah. Okay. So would you ever work with that wholesaler again?
Never.
Okay. We're done with them. Cool. Okay. So you get into the project, and were there any other big or strange construction things that came up? Just the septic tank, kind of trying to figure out where that was.
That was a big one. Another was we had to replace several spots of the subfloor.
Okay.
Around the tub.
Oh,
one of the bedrooms, and then one around a patio door.
Okay. And so was it hardwood floors on top of that? Original hardwood floors on top of that?
It's a newer build. I think it was built in 94.
So was it pretty cosmetic, like flooring, paint, updating cabinets, tile, or was there any like structural stuff y'all had to do?
We ended up knocking down a wall in the kitchen that separated the living room, and it was just an very odd wall that the stove had been on one side for the kitchen, and then on the other side they had mounted their television. And so we knocked that in half and kept the kitchen island there.
Oh my gosh.
Opened it all up, and it looked totally different.
Isn't that amazing? I mean,
Yeah.
just opening up, even if it's just a section of a wall, it can just change the entire feel of a place. Okay. So you are in August when you bought it. How long did you think the repairs would take? How long were you estimating for the repairs?
The contractor said between 6 and 8 weeks, and that's where he was. That is for
Nice.
sure.
How did you find your contractor?
Through my real estate agent.
Yep. There's a wealth of people. They have the resources to recommend.
Yeah. He was absolutely amazing with his communication, great quality work. One of the issues that actually came up was with the granite. I've never picked out granite before. I don't know what I'm doing, but I knew that he had told me, and the real estate agent had told me that we needed to stick with a level 1 granite.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I was like, cool. So go to the granite place, pick out what I want. Level 1, level 1, level 1. Only show me level 1.
Right.
Then whenever it came time to get it to the house, after they had measured and everything, there was delays on top of delays on top of delays. And the contractor actually switched our job with another job to get it in there faster, which I definitely appreciate.
Sure.
I come back from vacation and he tells me, hey, there's a little bit of a price difference on that granite. I'm like, what? What's this issue?
Yeah.
He handled it. But what the issue was, ended up being that the granite company charged $1,200 more than what I was quoted.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep. He ended up eating $300, passed $300 onto me, and then made the granite company eat $600.
Wow. Oh my God. I love this contractor.
I know.
Obviously, you're using him again.
Yes. He's very direct, and he knows what he's doing. He doesn't beat around the bush.
Yes. That's amazing. It makes it like, okay, cool. Yeah, we can do this again. Sure.
Exactly. And he's already, hey, you found another one?
I love it.
Not yet.
I love it. I love it.
I'll let you know. You're going to be the first one to know this time.
Hey, you were only 10K off on your estimating. That's not too bad, but I hear you. Okay, so you get to October. Are you in October when you list it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And you were thinking 240 when you first went under contract. What did the market do in the meantime? Did it stay around 240?
It didn't. Whenever we went to list it, we thought 260 was more appropriate. And so that's what we did. We started at 260. I couldn't believe it. I was still going to be happy with 240.
Yep.
But yeah, 260 seemed to be the sweet spot. Mm-hmm. We got offers, multiple offers. Mm-hmm. We accepted one for 10,000 over.
Okay.
That one actually fell through, and I was heartbroken and so scared. But we relisted it, and several more offers and many, many more showings. And we ended up getting what my real estate agent called a unicorn offer.
Oh gosh, what's the unicorn?
And the unicorn offer is all cash, no inspection, no appraisal, and they had an escalation clause. They would go $1,000 over anybody else who wanted it, up to like $290,000. And these people were out of state, never walked in the house. Their real estate agent only did video.
Oh my gosh. Were they moving there?
Yep.
Or do you know? Okay. What did they end up getting it under contract at?
281. $41,000 more than my mind ever thought was possible.
And this is okay. I feel like the house was in a more rural area. Is that right? Or am I making that up?
Yeah, that was definitely a selling point. The quiet seclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it outside of Knoxville though?
It was.
Okay.
And to be honest, I didn't realize it. Definitely didn't realize it whenever I went to go look at it, and never looked too much more into it until we started thinking about the septic and what county I needed to get that permit from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So right before closing, I was like, oh, it's in Anderson County. Okay.
Oh, so that's a different county than what you live in? Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's just like a mile and a half over the line.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. Wow. So what was your profit?
I have $45,000 profit.
On your first flip?
That's more than I make in a year at my regular job. And we did that in 3.5 months. And I couldn't be happier. I'm just so grateful.
Oh my gosh. Isn't it amazing that we can do something we love and that it gives us so much more time freedom.
Yep.
And we're rewarded in such a beautiful way.
And we've helped all these people.
And you've helped all these people. I love this. I love this business so much. Oh my gosh. What did your husband think?
One of the comments was before we knew how much it was going to go for, I think he was really scared about, yes, we get this profit, but then it's all going to be eaten up by taxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I think he's just also really blown away that this is something that I can do. Don't get me wrong, he was a huge help. Him, my father-in-law,
oh, good.
All the landscaping work that needed to be done, they spent days out there.
That's so awesome.
Back-breaking days.
Yeah. Yeah.
But neither of us ever could have expected the return that we got, for sure.
Sure.
Lots of people were like, you could list it yourself. I'm like, why would I want to do that? My real estate agent was amazing, and I want her to get paid for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad you said that, because there's enough to go around, and everybody can be happy, and everybody can have abundance, and like everybody can benefit. You don't have to DIY everything. Like, we can have a team that we get to support and we get to work with, and they get to do the things that they're great at. So they get to do the things they love and shine at. And you can stay in your lane and do what you love and what you shine at. And it's just a beautiful thing. Oh my gosh. She was right, man. Golly. Isn't that crazy how accurate she was? Well, it was 21 more than that, but she was.
And that's why she's on my team.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
She and I found that rental house together a few years ago. And I feel like we made an offer before my husband even saw it.
I love it.
So that's the way we work.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll work on him. He'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, she has a lot of good ideas, suggestions for paint colors, things like that.
Absolutely.
Trends.
Yes. Invaluable.
The walk-in shower, I'm not sure that's something that I would have done without her encouragement.
Yep. Well, it's so beautiful. That house is so beautiful.
It's really cute.
It is. But like, you did that. You orchestrated all of that.
When I first saw that first coat of paint, so after we cleaned it out ourselves, which was no small feat.
Oh, I'm sure.
After we demoed everything, there were still, it was still, I still couldn't see the full vision. But after they had gone through and put that first coat of paint on after they primered, I could see it. That's that day I did the video.
Yes.
I posted that dorky video.
It was not dorky.
Facebook page. I was so excited and I couldn't believe that it was actually all coming together. And I started to see it. And so I got really excited.
Yes. I can completely relate to that feeling. It never gets old seeing the transformation. It's like, oh my gosh, the putting back together. Yes. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Cute little staging stuff that you get to do.
Yeah.
We took stuff from the house and I just put it here and there. That's one thing I would have done different. Would have been actually hiring a stager. Things happened really fast there at the end. I thought I had more time. That didn't happen. I really wanted to buy a refrigerator. That didn't happen. I'll make sure these things happen on the next one. Yeah.
Well, for your first one, your first learning experience, I think you handled it as well as you could have. Like, that's just it all. I mean, you, from the start, before you even buy the dang thing, you're all of a sudden drinking a cup of courage and you find your voice and you're like, this is how it's going to go.
That was my biggest win.
Yeah.
That and I guess realizing that I can do this thing that I thought was super scary.
Yes.
I hate to say it. It was almost too easy, Debbie. You make it almost too easy for us with all the knowledge and all the materials that you have for us and the support in that group. Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
The group is just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy to hear that. It really doesn't have to be hard and painful and, like this awful thing. But for many of us, it's just doing that first one already. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, and you did. Okay. So did you guys close in November?
Well, we were supposed to close at the end of November. And then there was some strange clause that we didn't know about in New Jersey, where the buyers were. They were closing on the sale of their home, and then they were going to turn around and fund the purchase of this house.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there was a certain amount of time that had to be between those two transactions. It gives the people in New Jersey time to actually change their mind about their purchase. So whoever bought their house could have changed their mind.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
I didn't either. Their buyer's real estate agent didn't know about that either, which I thought was crazy, but whatever. Right. And now we all know. Yeah. So we closed December 3rd.
Okay.
That was fine for me.
That's so interesting. Yeah. So what did you do to celebrate?
What did we do? It was very close to my birthday. And I feel like we celebrated at my birthday.
Awesome.
We went out for a really nice dinner.
Nice.
I think we celebrated pretty much like before we closed, but I was always waiting to exhale, if you will. Like, I guess I always thought that maybe the other shoe would drop.
Yeah.
And we closed and that didn't happen. And it was just like, I couldn't believe it.
Why do we do that to ourselves? Gosh, waiting for the
Yeah.
other shoe to drop instead of just
enjoying the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't always drop. It doesn't always drop. Oh my God. I love this story. I'm so glad.
Thank you. You're a part of it.
I was tickled the other day. I got tickled again. I think Sissy and I tagged you in the group and we're like, podcast interview. And your GIF comment. Oh my gosh, it got me tickled all over again. That was perfect. Okay, anything we didn't touch on that about the project or anything?
I don't think so. I think we have it all. I think I've gone through all my notes.
What was one or maybe two of your biggest fears before you flipped a house? What were your big fears playing in the background?
I was mostly concerned that if we lost money, it would impact our marriage and not in a good way.
Truth.
Yeah.
And your husband he's always been on board, right? He wasn't like, no, you can't, or no, you shouldn't.
No, he's not like that.
Yeah.
He knows I'm going to do what I want, whether he's on board or not, usually. But he comes around before we get to that point.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
He was a little bit more skeptical than me, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's no longer the issue. He definitely has more of a numbers, and he's more logic kind of mind than me.
Yep.
I like to see the best in projects and in people.
Yeah.
And so I think we work together pretty well on that. I've like on the house I was telling you about with the wholesaler I worked with initially that I liked.
Yes.
I went in and I got an inspection. Paid like $300 for an inspection.
Yeah.
And that was one thing he was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you spending this money?
Yeah.
But in the end, I ended up selling that inspection to the person that bought it for half price.
Awesome.
So I got some of that money back.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always a way to recoup some costs.
Yeah, for sure. And did the inspection results, did those make you not want to move forward?
Yes.
There you go. I mean, there you go. You saved money by that.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so great.
The win that I'll get out of that is I pushed myself out of the comfort zone that I wasn't in, got to talk to this wholesaler, realized they weren't so scary, and built a really good relationship with them. And I'm still on their list. I looked at a property of theirs last week. That's my intention, is to work with them again in the very near future.
Nice.
Do this all again.
Yeah. If that's your intention, that's what's going to happen. So there you go. Well, this has been so fun. I'm so glad to hear your story. I rarely know the numbers before getting on the interview. Yeah. And so I'm always like, I wonder. And yeah, 45 grand. That's amazing.
We'll take it.
Yes. And we'll do it again.
Well, thank you for making this an easy process for us.
You're welcome.
You set everything out, lay everything out step by step. And really, you're your only limiting factor. That's for sure.
Say that again for everyone in the back or everyone who closed their ears right when you said that. It's the truth. It's the truth. It is absolutely the truth. Oh my gosh. If we could just get out of our own way faster and sooner. But you know what? We all have our own journey. And that's kind of the beauty of it, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been lovely. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thanks for taking time out of your day. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Bye.
Bye. Tell me you don't want what was in that coffee cup, right? I'm not even kidding. Wow. Such a great story. So inspiring. Thanks again, Sabrina, for sharing that with us. And if you, listener, are still sitting on the sideline, what are you waiting for? It is 100% possible for you to do this, for you to chase this dream. 100% possible. You've heard countless stories of other women, everyday women on this podcast doing the thing. You totally can. And if you want to be part of an amazing community that not only do we show you step by step what to do, but you get so much more out of it than just that. You have this big community of women supporting you every single day. Go to herfirstflip.com, schedule a call with us. All right, let's see if we're a fit. This is what we do. It's our specialty, helping women start house flipping businesses that they love. It's what we do. All right, until next time, go out there, flip houses like a girl, leave people and places better than you find them, and chase your curiosities.